I'm confessing and believing and receiving. Hey, good morning to you. Hey, I got some really great news, just great news. Jesus is Lord. I found out that if you make him Lord of your life, everything's going to be all right. But you got to do what God said in his word. The word works, but you got to kind of work it a little bit. Now, I've told you this a lot of times. Faith's not hard. Really quite simple, but it's a little different. I want to read to you out of the book of James, chapter 3, verse 3. I'm going to tell you a horse story today. Okay, watch this. James 3:3. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths. Bits, that's the thing that fits in his mouth. There's a rein tied to each side. Bits in horses' mouth that they may obey us. In other words, we make the horse do what we want him to do, and we turn about their whole bodies. Now, a horse may weigh 1,000 pounds. I don't know. They're pretty good size, big old horse. But we make him do what we want him to do by putting that bit in his mouth. Now, what that's really saying is my body, which weighs a little over 200 pounds, is controlled by my mouth, not all the stuff that's around me. Somebody says, oh, that's that old faith stuff. You have what you say stuff. I don't believe that. Well, when you said I don't believe it, you just got what you said. I mean, you couldn't believe it if you wanted to. Have people write me letters and say, well, that stuff don't work. Well, it just worked. It didn't work for you because you said it don't work. You're going to have what you say, whether you believe it or not. I mean, this is a principle of God. It goes all the way back from the beginning. When God stepped out there and on the edge of nothing, it was very dark out there, and God didn't say, whoo, it's dark. He said, be light, let there light be. Light. So he calleth things that be not as though they were. That's just the way God is, and we are to imitate him. And so you need to quit talking circumstances and talk what the power of the word is, and the word will set you free. Now, I was raised up Concord, Alabama, farm boy, country boy. We just lived on a little few acreage down there. Didn't do a whole lot of farming, but we did. And some of the people had horses, and there's this one guy, Johnny Schobert. I don't even know if he's still alive. Most of the guys I grew up with are already gone. He had an old Tennessee walking horse, and he'd ride it over to our house. See, when we were kids, we either walked or we rode our bicycles. Didn't anybody have a car, or we rode the horse. Sometimes we'd ride the cows, and sometimes we'd pull a sapling over and ride the trees. I mean, we just always out having a good time. Well, Johnny would have to ride a couple of miles away from us, and he'd come down on this horse, a Tennessee walking horse. They call them racking horses now. Boy, that thing would strut. Boy, he'd pick up them feet and go. A lot of fun to ride, but he was kind of old. Pretty good riding horse. I always enjoyed riding him. But if that horse ever figured out where he was and could see the barn, know where the barn was, but you had your hands full. He would take off toward that barn because he didn't want to ride anyway, and it was all you could do to pull back, whoa, and turn him around. I mean, it was tough because that horse knew where he wanted to go. Now, I'm going to say something here. Some of you have been sick so long, and you're going to take your reins and try to quote 2 scriptures a day on healing, and your old body's going to say, no, I'm 50 years old. No, I've been sick all my life, and it ain't going to want to be healed. You're going to say, okay, I got to plant more seed of the word. You're going to get in the word, put a lot more seed of the word in there, confess the word a whole lot more, and your body's going to have to respond. What comes out of your mouth is going to control your body. Well, now watch this. But if your body ever gets to looking back at the barn, I've been sick for 50 years. It's always been sick. Then you better hold on, because you for a ride, and your old horse body is going to try to take you back sick. Same thing's true with money. I was raised as a poor family. Dad was a worker at the steel union, and we raised a lot of our food, tomatoes and beans and peas, and Mom would can them. I mean, if we hadn't canned the food that we planted, we probably wouldn't survive. We didn't have a lot, just one old car. Dad worked night shift because it made 10 cents an hour or more, and so we were broke. Well, when Pat and I got married, I'd been broke all my life. We thought you had to do without. First few churches I pastored when I was in my early 20s, I think they prayed, Lord, keep him humble, we'll keep him poor. Broke. Kids started coming. That cost us a lot of money. So I was broke so long, I found out about the biblical principles of that God will meet your needs according to his riches and glory. Found out God wanted you to actually be rich. And we began to enjoy that. We began to say it until it started coming to pass. Have what we want. We started buying stuff, doing what we wanted. Always had money in my pocket. But I found out where the barn was. I started to remember poverty, and I quit planting the seed of the Word of God, and I began to quit saying it. My trust wasn't in the word. My trust wasn't in what I was saying. My trust was in my income. My trust was in what I had in the bank. And you know, my old horse turned and went back to that barn, and I didn't stop it. I didn't say, no, nope, we're not going back there. And before I knew it, didn't take near as long to get back into poverty as it did for me to talk my way out of it. Here, you're going to have to do this every day of your life. My God meets my needs according to his riches and glory. Or I was healed by the stripes of Jesus. He sent his word and healed me. Forget not all of his benefits, who healeth all thy diseases, etc., etc. Because your body going to try to go back to sick. Your money's going to try to go back to broke. Your marriage is going to try to go back to miserable. That's why I say every day to my wife, honey, you love me and I love you. And she says, yeah, I do love you. And yeah, I know you love me. We talk about it. We call it because our words, the reins on that horse, we're going to have to keep it going the way we want it to go, not the way it wants to go, because you'll go back to the old life. Hey, I got to go. Man, I got to go back to singing my song. I'm confessing and believing and receiving what Jesus said, and that's all that's going to come out of my mouth. Have a great day. Remember, Jesus is Lord. Thank God the word works.